All right, everybody, we are back. What a day it has been. What a night it has been. One of the longest nights of our careers. We went through a Noche UFC event that seemed like it took a decade, but the main card ended up picking up and it was good. Incredible main event. And then we shifted over to the world of boxing, the Legion Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada, where Terrence Bud Crawford just continues to add to his incredible resume, his incredible legacy. He goes out, wins a unanimous decision against Canelo Alvarez, disappointing the Las Vegas crowd, the 70+ thousand people in the record-breaking attendance at Legion Stadium, and is now the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. And thank you for joining us on this post-fight show. I am Mike Heck. That is Jed Meshew. And Jed, we just wrapped our watch party, a sort of makeshift show that we put together on like 48 hours notice. And Bud Crawford goes out there and just delivers an incredible performance. I scored it 10 rounds to 2. Some people had it all over the place, but I think everybody across the board scored this fight for Terrence Crawford, and the judges got it right. Your initial reaction to this, how highly do you rate what Bud Crawford did tonight?
Terrence Crawford, I was pretty clear about this coming in. I thought that he was the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. I've thought that for quite some time. You can always make the case for Usyk. I just feel like he is the best and has been for a hot minute. And this is solidified. I don't think there's any human being on earth outside of the most contrarian take artists out there who are going to be like, yeah, I mean, in a way, is fighting this weekend, but like it's just not. Nope, he's not going to do that. Bud Crawford is the best fighter I've ever seen fight live. He is the best boxer I've ever seen compete live. I am not a super deep boxing historian, like I don't think anyone's seen Harry Greb actually box, or, I'm not talking about Sugar Ray Robinson. Or the best fighter I have watched compete live is Bud Crawford. That was an incredible performance. I scored at 8-4 Bud. Could have easily been 10-2 Bud. I am happy that they didn't rob him, though. Boy, did they try to. They let him know, right, Mike? They sent the shot across the bow, like, hey, man, you just squeaked this out. We couldn't rob you, but we wanted to try. And yeah, like my big takeaway is like, we were talking on the watch party, like, what's the funniest outcome? Because the funniest outcome for that fight was Bud winning, because Canelo handpicked this fight. Like for years, as Jose Young said in the buildup, for years, Canelo was dismissive of this fight. He wasn't interested in it, and basically transparently took it because it was a lot of money. And I was like, yeah, I'm way bigger than I'm going to win. So the funniest outcome is, of course, Bud winning. Bud winning that fashion is so impressive that no one's going to really even talk. The conversation from this will not be about Canelo. It will not be about is Canelo paying the price for not fighting like great opponents the last few years? Has just long tenure in the game caught up with him? That won't be what anyone's talking about, because it's just going to be like, holy shit, Terrence Crawford is the best fighter of this generation. How does he stack up historically? Those are the conversations Terrence Crawford is in now, is where does he rank historically? Because he just did something that's never been done before, and that is unlikely to be, replicated many times over. An incredible fighter and a privilege to watch.
Yeah, unbelievable performance. I was just blown away. He had Canelo figured out literally from the opening bell. Knew exactly what was coming. He had Canelo frustrated pretty quickly into the fight. Probably by like round 4, you could really start to see it a little bit. Round 5, it's almost like he took a little bit of a round off and let Canelo. I gave Canelo round 5. That was like the one I felt best about. And then right after that, Crawford was like, F this. Like I literally took a round off and let him hit me with everything he could, and he didn't do anything to me. And you could see the confidence rise, you could see the frustrations rise in Canelo's side. Just an unbelievable performance. And we sort of touched on this before we wrapped up the watch party. Is like, what do you do now if you are Bud Crawford? Because this was your big money fight. This was the biggest fight he can have. And sure, there are boxing fans and pundits who would love to watch Bud Crawford fight David Benavidez, but that fight doesn't make a ton of money. It's just like a fun hardcore fans fight. It's Islam Makhachev versus Arman Sarukian, where it's like, oh, this guy's good. He's fighting the number one guy, but it's not going to do great on pay-per-view or anything like that. If you're Bud Crawford, are you entertaining the Benavidez fight, or at this point in your career, is this just all about being a prize fighter, where it's let's just take the biggest payday we can get, which in my opinion is probably a rematch with Canelo.
I mean, I think Bud should absolutely, this is the time to cash in. We're just done. Like there's nothing to, he can't, I mean, it's preposterous to think he could add to his legacy by being like, all right, I'm going to go fight Usyk. Like that's obviously an insane thing, but I guess maybe it's not. It's fucking Bud Crawford. I don't know that he can't, like he could do anything apparently. Like I just don't know how he builds on the legacy, right? Like he just became the first ever male 3 division undisputed champion. And again, like, I mean, I guess he could be 4 because again, he jumped up weight classes, right? So he could just go back to middleweight or junior middleweight, and pursue those. And I like, if he just is trying to capture undisputed championships, like they're Infinity Stones and he's Thanos or some shit. But like, there aren't any other major legacy fights out there waiting for him. This was the one. That's why it was built towards this for so long. And he did it. He did the damn thing. And so, if he goes out and beats Canelo again, that maybe even adds a little juice to the legacy. And it certainly adds the most dollars to his bank account. I would think that would be sort of the primary driver for him. But I don't know what the fuck else to do, man. Like, but I honest to God, I have no idea how he improves on his career.
Yeah, I just think, go get the rematch, win it again, and then cash that check and be done. I think that's the way to go. And I think Benavidez would be obviously at this point in their careers, the tougher stylistic matchup for him. But again, it's the legacy is set, right? Like him beating Benavidez is like a great win for those who watch the sport. But at the end of the day, like that doesn't, like you've already done it. Like the legacy is cemented. Go get that bag. And I think honestly, the bag is a rematch with Canelo. Maybe you do it again on Netflix and actually have a co-main event worthy of a fight like that, which we did not get tonight, but that's another story for another day. One thing I wanted to bring up, and then I want to talk about Noche UFC, take a few questions to get out of here because we ain't staying around for an hour and a half. It's just not happening. Casey Leiden, our friend, posed a very interesting question, and you had a very interesting answer to this question, and we'll see what folks in the chat think of this as well, since this is MMAfighting.com and it's a great website and this is an MMA site, but we do cover boxing as well. Here's what Casey asked on Twitter 14 minutes ago, and I won't give his answer away or his follow-up question. What is the MMA equivalent of Terrence Crawford beating Canelo Alvarez? Jed, what is the MMA equipment of what we just saw tonight?
I actually think he nailed it. In his, I don't know if it's in the same tweet or a follow-up tweet, but he was like Jose Aldo beating prime George St. Pierre. And it's not quite good. Like the Canelo's not his prime, I wouldn't say anymore, certainly, but I'm also not entirely sure Bud's in his prime. He's 37. He's old. Though obviously he looked incredible. Like this is that, right? Like this is 145er jumping up to welterweight and be not even like jumping up to lightweight and like, screw it. I'm Jose Aldo. I will jump up to welterweight and I will beat the George St. Pierre who just beat Johnny Hendricks, right? Like that's it. Like that is, if that's the equivalent. Um, it's preposterous. Like it's a ludicrous thing to do, and it is a testament to how we say generationally talented a lot. Bud Crawford is a generational talent. And yeah, like that's the best comp I have is that for MMA folks, which is maybe again, maybe isn't perfect, right? Like Canelo is not the best fighter of all time, which is what George St. Pierre probably is, but like we're in the ballpark of that, we're in the neighborhood of that. And so it's absolutely ludicrous, an incredible accomplishment.
Taking a look at the cards, the official scorecards, Tim Cheatham, Max DeLuca, Steve Weisfield were the judges. After 8 rounds, Steve Weisfield, I believe, was the only one who had it in favor of Terrence Crawford. He had it 5-3. The 2 other judges through 8 rounds had it tied 4 rounds apiece. And then Crawford pulled away down the stretch to win the fight, winning 3 of the last 4 on all 3 of the cards. And all 3 of the cards were completely different. Tim Cheatham gave Crawford rounds 9, 11, and 12. DeLuca gave Crawford 10, 11, and 12. And nope, Weisfield had the same as Cheatham, 9, 11, and 12 for Crawford. So it seems like down the stretch is where it really won him the fight. And only one judge had Crawford up heading into round 9. So, yeah, close fight. Great performance from Crawford. I mean, it was competitive for a while, and then Crawford did pull away, and I think everyone felt fairly confident that Bud Crawford was going to get the nod, and luckily that's what happened, and the judges did the damn thing and got it right. So the rest of the main card, if you guys missed it, Callum Walsh, who is obviously Dana White's guy, wins a unanimous decision 99-91, 99-91, 100-90. Christian and Billy, Lester Martinez, incredible fight. Should have been the co-main event. It ends in a split draw. And then Muhammad Alakai versus Travis Crawford was a glorified sparring match, and it was pretty awful. So, Jed, did you have anything else you want to add before we go to Noche UFC?
No one is here to shit on Alexander Usyk, who is the greatest cruiserweight of all time, the greatest heavyweight of this generation, a top 15 heavyweight of all time. No one's here to shit on Naoya Inoue, who fucking is probably the coolest fighter on the goddamn planet of Earth. This just aren't the same. Like, God love Usyk. Again, greatest cruiserweight ever. A top 15 heavyweight of all time. Probably better. But like heavyweight's just been around for a lifetime and has so many good ones. Like, awesome run. Not what Bud has done. It's just not the same. He's the best pound for fighter in the world. And like, you can just be like, I like Usyk better because he fought big dudes and I know those dudes. Like, I know who Dubois is. And that's awesome. I'm not shitting on Usyk. Give Bud his flowers. He is almost any rational argument the top pound for pound fighter in the sport right now. Just and the best fighter of this generation. It's incredible.
Unbelievable performance. Congratulations to Bud Crawford. Before we move on to Noche, this was obviously this is the Zuffa boxing debut, right? This was, let's introduce what we're going to do to the world. I think the big announcement, I just saw it on social media, was Zuffa boxing will officially become a thing in 2026, which is not really a huge announcement. We kind of saw that coming anyways. But how would you grade Dana White's? I mean, this is a Turkey Al Sheikh promotion all the way. Dana just became kind of the face of it. But this is something the UFC had their hands all over. This felt very UFC-ish, this entire build. Everything about this fight week was very UFC-ish, from media day to the press conferences to how they did weigh-ins. Even the main event. Like, it took forever for the guys to walk, but we didn't get the national anthems. We didn't get the pomp and circumstance. We didn't get 35 minutes from the walkouts to the actual first round starting. But how would you grade the Zuffa boxing debut, so to speak?
It's hard because I don't know how much of this is me trashing on it because I'm so used to it. How much is me trashing on it because It's 2:30 and I'm a little grumpy and tired. Um, I think it was bad, bro. Like, eh, and the fact is, no one's gonna care because the main event is so important and so significant and so incredible that that's gonna flatten out the criticism and sort of wash over the rest of it, right? The last thing that happened tonight was something that has never been done before and that we'll remember for a generation, right? And so that'll smooth over the many rough edges. But this they didn't start fighting until 1, which was insane. The Callum Walsh as the co-main, that was terrible. The fight was okay, but like putting him as co-main was obviously ludicrous. And it's just sort of back like didn't work. Personally, and this is the one where I'm the most open to criticism on, I hated the whole fight week because it felt like a UFC fight week. Now, other observers, other fans might have liked that. Maybe that is a new experience for them because they're not big UFC fans and they enjoyed it. Maybe they're just UFC fans who liked it. But I hated that this felt like, well, we're just going to plug this into the UFC system and go, because that just was not appealing to me. Um, the pace was awful. It dragged for that card, man. Um, uh, I think it'll all come out in the wash because the main event, it'll come out in the wash because Terrence Crawford is an all-time great fighter and he saved it. But I would say not a strong promotional debut for Zuffa Boxing.
I mean, you can only debut once, so I think they'll learn from this, hopefully. But yeah, if we're looking at this, if this event was put on trial in the court of public opinion, the UFC is guilty of not doing everything they could have here. This again, I'm with you. This just felt very UFC-ish. It felt very dry. It felt like something we see every Saturday in every fight week. Obviously, it was in a bigger stadium, so that was like a different kind of a feel and a different kind of a flow. But I think the choice of having Callum Walsh as the co-main event, anybody who watches boxing and you saw the Belly fight, not being in that co-main event spot, people were scratching their heads and they questioned it and they knew exactly what this was. And I think that played out, and I think it rubbed people the wrong way. And I actually think it kind of took away from Crawford's moment a little bit too, because people were so pissed about that. You could not avoid it on social media. You could not avoid it on Twitter. People just shit all over that, man. And it was tough. So we'll see. Hopefully they bounce back and we can build these cards correctly. I think MMA card placement isn't everything, but I think in boxing it is much more important, and I think that showed true tonight. So, but the story is Bud Crawford. It should be Bud Crawford, and we'll see what Dana say at the press conference. Apparently, he's going to be there, and I'm sure he's going to get a ton of questions, and we'll see what happens. So, we'll get into the super chats in a minute. Real quick, how do you grade Noche UFC, Jed? We touched on a little bit during the watch party. It was capped off by Diego Lopes and John Silva having 9 of the craziest minutes of fighting we have seen this year. An incredible finish from Diego Lopes, just batters John Silva. The Fighting Nerd story continues to be a fascinating one. They were on top of the MMA game. They were on top of the world. And now 3 of their best fighters have lost fights in a 7-day span, with Mauricio Hufi, Kyle Bahalio, and then John Silva getting finished by Diego Lopes today. But this is the Diego show. He looked like a fucking superstar out there. San Antonio treated him as such all week long. And then he goes out and gets the win to cap off sort of a roller coaster event. Jed, your thoughts, your reaction to Noche UFC Part 3?
Like a C plus. I mean, it was an F for the prelims. The whole prelims were terrible. And then the main card things got turned around. We talked about it some during the watch party, right? Like the prelims were so bad that the Kelvin Gastelum Dustin Stolfitz fight, which was objectively like pretty fun, wasn't like the best fight of all time or anything, but it was a fun fight. And the crowd was dead because they had just been dead all night long, and they were like, they couldn't like, oh, I'm allowed to have fun. I forgot that fun was allowed because the prelims were so bad. And so that I mean, that really buried the card. Credit to all the main card fighters who helped drag it out of that. Um, and again, there will be a little bit like the main event was memorable and cool and fun. Round of the year, almost certainly right now, the round of the year, the second round of that fight. Um, Terrific performance. Diego Lopes got over in a major way. It's a super popular guy already. And so like people will be more kind to this in their memories, but living it, it was a 14 fights and it felt every bit of 14 fight card.
100% agree. We were on the road for a while of that being the worst UFC card in a very long time. Luckily, Santiago Luna changed everything with his finish. And then it was just kind of a weird main card, but great moment for David Martinez. Obviously, incredible main event. Wild shit happened there. Definitely the worst Noche UFC on paper. Certainly the worst in execution outside of the main event, but hopefully maybe not, maybe don't do Noche UFC at the same time as your boxing events. Maybe we could make it feel big and make it feel important because it just seemed like they coddled this one together. Luckily, that main event banged and we knew it would. So there you go. Let's go to the peeps for a little bit here. I mean, there's certain little things. You can go back and watch the watch party to get like specific thoughts on things. But we will answer a few questions. AK and I will do some matchmaking tomorrow and on to the next one. So we'll talk about the fallout of this event and much more. So Spencer kicks us off with the super chats. Hell of a day, boys. Hard to be a boxing great with how old sport is, but fair to say Bud and Usyk are highest ranked pound for pound boxers all time from this generation. Yeah, I think you could put them both in the discussion. Sure.
Sure. I mean, in a way, it's a little younger, but so I don't really like that'll be a question of where he lives generationally, but yes.
Sleeto, thank you, my man. Shortest 14 fight card fight time was UFC Fight Night Smith versus Spann, 2 hours, 7 minutes, 2 seconds. This Noche card was also exactly 2 hours, 7 minutes, 2 seconds fight time. Crazy. I truly felt like this is the fastest front to back broadcast for 14 fights we've ever had.
That is not the experience I had, but
I didn't feel that either.
Happy you had that experience. I'm glad if you had a good time. I did not. I had a good time once the main card kicked. Main card was really fun.
That felt like it flew by a lot faster.
Yeah, the 8 fights to get there. Well, that took some time.
Yeah, there was one point where I was watching and I was like, "Holy shit, we still have like 3 more fights." It was right after the Gastelum fight. I was like, "Oh my god, we still have 3 more of these." I thought we were going right into David Martinez and Rob Font, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we still got Rafa Garcia and Jared Gordon." I was like, "We have 3 more of these. This is crazy." It got sloggy for sure. The prelims were pretty bad. Even the fights, obviously, like Donchenko had a great finish to kind of kick things off. He's going to be one of those fun guys. Korea at the Costa, we had a towel throw. A team threw in the towel today.
That was like the highlight of it.
Yes. The Rendon Alice Pereira fight was bad. Dumas gets kicked in the balls 51 seconds into the fight. That was tough. The flyweight Aguilar Garuli fight, not great. Silva Pueyas was okay. Dusko Todorovic, Jose Medina was, just great placement because Jose Medina is just a dude who just gets run over every time he fights. But man, Tatiana Suarez, Amanda Lemos was the biggest letdown of this entire day. Just one of the worst fights of the year. Great. One of the worst fights of 2025.
It wasn't particularly enjoyable.
She's very far away from a title fight.
I'm not even confident she should have won. She just did win.
Yeah. So,
which I'll take, but yeah. Tatiana Suarez, we talked about it on the watch party. Tatiana Suarez needs to add some wrinkles to her game. she's been figured out, and she can still beat a lot of people with this based purely on physicality, frankly. But Limosh is obviously a very physically strong fighter as well, and that gave her a lot of problems. And we saw what happened with Zhang. Other physical specimens will similarly be difficult. She's got to add some stuff.
Yeah, I left UFC 312 feeling like, all right, if Zhang and Tatiana fought a bunch of times, like I think Tatiana could win a couple. I left today
No,
feeling like they could fight a million times and Tatiana would not win a single fight. She would go 0 in a million against Zhang.
it wouldn't be a high number of them.
Yep, it would not be good. Spencer agrees with Jed. Bud better pound for pound than Usyk all time, and been wanting to tell y'all you're definitely right. Imavov deserves, but won't get it. Try to ignore the dumb fans. Spencer just speaking truth here.
Those are all almost objectively correct takes.
Yeah,
Because there are takes, they can't be objectively correct, but they're pretty close.
Yeah. Joseph, with Volk saying he wants to fight in December, who is in the catbird seat to get a title shot? I think Bovsar Evloev. I don't think you've been watching the UFC very long. I know that's not true because we talk about you're on all the shows, but they're not giving it to Movsar. They're giving it to Lerone Murphy. And it wasn't automatic after beating Aaron Pico. It seemed like he was in the driver's seat, but if John Silva had gone out there and finished Diego Lopes, they probably would have given it to him over Lerone Murphy, but Lerone won huge today because Diego got the finish. So yeah, it won't be Movsar. Hopefully Movsar is like next after Lerone gets it, but I'm not even convinced that's the case. So
apparently Volk already dropped a video reacting to Noce. I assume in that video he's just like, yep, we're fighting Lerone Murphy, because Lerone Murphy tweeted after. Great, because Lerone Murphy knew it was exactly what I said in our preview show. Jean Silva, I think Jean Silva was the leader to get the title fight. If he had won impressively, I think he would have been the first call over Lerone Murphy, but he lost. And so Lerone Murphy deserves it. Absolutely. Happy to see it. It'll be a great fight. He's almost certainly fighting Volk in December.
Agreed. RS40, Crawford makes great fighters look average. Where do you rank him in the boxing greats? Also, what do you think of Lopez's performance tonight? Was that fight of the year?
Not fight of the year. It's hard, but boxing greats are too hard to do. That's my official take, because boxing's been around for 200 years. It's too hard to pick the greatest MMA fighter. And I'm much more in tune to that sport. And it's been around for 35 years. Like, boxing is way too difficult to be like, this guy's the best, especially when like guys that are conventionally at the top of that list, like Harry Greb, like nobody's actually seen him fight. It's just like Harry Greb was the welterweight and heavyweight champion of the world concurrently or some shit like that, So, all I know is that is the best boxer I've ever seen compete live. I don't know that he's better than Muhammad Ali. Probably not. But I think he is better than Floyd Mayweather. I think he is better than Manny Pacquiao, who was better than Floyd Mayweather, by the way. He's just the best boxer I've ever seen compete live. And I'm wholly impressed by Terrence Crawford, the human being.
My fight of the year list as it stands right now. Josh Van Brand Royval is number 1.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Bilal Muhammad JDM is number 2.
That is a good fight, but I don't know. Let me kind of pull these up.
Nazim Sadikov, Nicholas Mota is number 3.
Oh, you silly boy.
Merab Dvalishvili, Umar Nurmagomedov is number 4. Chris Duncan, Matush Rebetsky is number 5. Diego Lopes, John Silva is number 6. Speaking out just ahead of Esteban Rivovic and Elvis Brenner.
Honest to God, it's probably, if I'm going to be a real person and not a goon, it's probably Usman Paul Hughes 1. for a fight of the
Oh
year
yeah,
is my number one, and my number two or my number one, if I'm going to be a goon, is Kevin Holland, Danny Rodriguez. That's the funniest fight of the year by far.
it's definitely the
That,
funniest fight. I have that at
yeah,
number
so that's the best fight of the
7
year.
right
This is
now.
the funniest fight of the year by a mile.
Yeah, I
So
have that at number 7.
that's my 1 and 2. Really good fight, really funny fight. That's where we're at.
Yes. Yeah, I got to put Usman and Hughes in there. That'll probably be number 3. Yeah, we'll see.
That fight was incredible. Also, they're
It was a
going
great
to fight
fight.
again. I think that's the best fight I've seen this year. But Van Royval was only 3 rounds, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
If that was 5, that would be really hard to beat.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no issues with your list. I mean, they're all kind of in the list there. But yeah,
Good
I think
call
that's
on
where I'm at.
good call on Hughes and Usman being in there. Rounding out the top 10 without Usman and Hughes, Yuri Prochazka, Jamal
Jamal
Hill
Hill, say that's on my list. I think my 5
is in there, and I actually have Jose Aldo versus Ayman Zahabi.
Was surprisingly fun.
That was actually fun. Maybe it's just because Ayman Zahabi was involved and it exceeded expectations in that regard. But yeah, there's some good ones in there.
It's been a decent little year.
Yeah. Julian Arosa and Melky Costa was really fun as well. I had that like just outside the top 10. So yeah, there's been some good fights this year. There's been some fucking stinkers too, but there have been some fun ones without question. Take a couple more that we'll get on out of here. Did you all watch BKFC last night? What'd you think of the Perry Stevens in-ring face-off? I did watch BKFC last night for one reason and one reason only, to watch Yoel Romero kill a man, and he did exactly that. I
Couldn't
did
have
watch.
seen that coming.
I did watch the face-off. The one thing that annoys me about BKFC is they're trying to be pro wrestling so badly. That was incredibly staged to a certain degree, but yeah, it was fine. It does nothing to sell a pay-per-view for them or get an extra set of eyeballs because people are going to watch that shit anyways because it's Mike Perry bare knuckle fighting somebody and people are going to watch it. So it was fine. I love BKFC events because they pace it beautifully.
They understand pacing at least.
They get it. It's just bang, 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 bang. We go to the next fight. Bang, 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 bang. And yeah. We'll take one more Joseph Boza question. We'll get on out of here. No, we talked about the Dominic Cruz thing. I don't want to shit on Dominic Cruz for another hour. Does Jake Paul call out Bud at some point, or is Bud too good of a fighter? Jake has said he will sue you if you call his boxing career a fraud. That's not true. Jake will sue you if you say his fights are fake or staged.
Yeah, you can't sue someone for calling you a fraud.
Yeah, but if you say like, hey,
but
if you say like his fights are fixed, if you try to do what Piers Morgan did, and then you get basically a cease and desist, which I'm sure happened, and then he backpedaled on what he said and tried to quote unquote clarify it. But no, I don't think Jake Paul's calling out Bud. I don't think that happens. So
I mean, he's just gonna call out Canelo now more. He's gonna be like, oh, Canelo lost. Bum. I'll knock him out. Bud, you lost to a dude that's 3 weight classes smaller than you. I'm a bigger man than you. I will put you in the ground. That's 100% what he's going to do. Probably what he should do, frankly.
Yep. All right. I think we've hit like the big talking points here, right?
I think we did. I mean, the chat is functionally a nightmare, so I think we're okay.
Yeah.
People who I just aren't fans of boxing or active trolls. It's unclear which. I just to get this out there, it doesn't need to be said, but I'll say it anyway for my final thoughts. Had some friends texting me. These friends do not watch boxing or MMA. They don't watch fights. All of them were like, wow, Terrence Crawford kicked his ass. Nobody was like, he ran away. cowardly. So if your take is that you're either a troll, which I would just strongly encourage you to do anything more productive with your time, or you might not be in the right sport. One of those two. I don't know.
Or you should probably just stop betting on fights.
That could be the thing. You could just be like, I lost money. 100%. I was really open. I thought Canelo was winning this fight. I thought that it was preposterous, frankly, that he was as small a favorite as he was. Couldn't have been more wrong, obviously. But I wasn't like, wow, Canelo got robbed. What a coward. I was like, man, Terrence Crawford's really good. My money left. Shames.
Oh, good. Fight. And now is the undisputed super middleweight champion and is probably the best boxer on planet Earth pound for pound right now. So what a performance. What a crazy day. So many fights. About 12 hours of fighting that we got to see today. Fights. If you watched it all.
And some football.
Shout out to John Anik. I see he got a lot of praise. So well done there.
And from what I heard, he was quite strong. So good for him.
Yeah. Because he's a pro. I think he's the best play-by-play guy in combat sports, and dude is an absolute legend. So you're all absolute legends, especially those who stuck with us all day long. For Jed Meshew, I am Mike Heck. If you still want to stick around and watch some more fight talk, press conference live on this here channel right now. Canelo Crawford, EKC Ladin in the his house. Thank you very much. AK and I back tomorrow for some on to the next one, some matchmaking. Until then, good night, everybody.
Buenas noches.